In keeping with the writing The Wrongs of Apartheid and ridding people of South Africa of the inhumane, undignified way of living, Parliament in 2004 established SASSA Act to, among other things, ensure the effective, efficient, and economical use of funds designated for the payment to beneficiaries of Social Security, the promotion and protection of the human dignity of applicants for and beneficiaries of Social Security, the protection of confidential information held by the agency other than as is contemplated in Section 16, honest, impartial, fair, and equitable service delivery, mechanisms to regulate community participation and consultation, and close quote. Instead of the above, and in total contravention of the act that established the agency, the following are some of the responses to questions we have been asking to the Honorable Minister of Social Development. First, the total potential loss over the last 10 years is projected at 536,683,179 rands and 12 cents. Some of the cases are not yet finalized to come to the full determination of the actual loss. 215 million in potential loss in 2018-2019 and 109 million rand in 2013-2014. 82,084 SASSA cards were stolen in the past 5 years, and 23 million rand were stolen from cards since 2018. The questions yielding these responses are triggered by inquiries we are fielding as members of the Portfolio Committee from applicants and beneficiaries of social grants who, after not receiving their grants on published dates, they've had to endure long queues repeated over days as they are not assisted for one reason or another. The chaos that has accompanied grant payments in South Africa over at least 10 years shows that the department and SASSA have not learned any lessons from the series of lapses in the grant payment system. Chairperson, serious observations and possible solutions have come from civil society, the opposition parties like the Democratic Alliance, and all these have fallen on deaf ears. Today's debate is a direct and desperate attempt to seek measures that will save the lives and livelihoods of beneficiaries who are on the receiving end of daily closures of post offices. The measure we continue to bring to the table is the institutionalization of the grant payment system in South Africa. The legislation that established the agency is clear on this matter. I do not have time in this debate to recount the challenges that have had dire effects on individuals and families who are recipients and beneficiaries of social grants. It is sufficient to state that the legislation, for the most part, has not been adhered to, and the results of that is the mayhem experienced by people who, by category, are vulnerable and should therefore be protected from further vulnerability from a government they installed to govern them. In a February Portfolio Committee meeting, SASSA officials themselves told the members of Parliament that SAPO had failed to provide dignified services, adequate equipment to comply with norms and standards, and adhere to a payment schedule time. This is a direct contravention of the SASSA Act and is a clear but disturbing demonstration of SASSA throwing their hands in the air about their failures to deliver on their constitutional mandate to, and I quote, act eventually as the sole agent that will ensure the effective and efficient management, administration, and payment of social assistance, close quote. It is very concerning, Honourable Chairperson, and frustrating to have to hear about how SAPO or Postbank are not doing their work. The beneficiaries did not apply to SAPO or Postbank for social grant. They applied to SASSA, the agency set up by an act of parliament to pay grants. It is for this reason that as the Democratic Alliance, we call upon the Department of Social Development to consider without delay putting systems in place to institutionalize the payments of grants as outlined in the SASSA Act, as the partnering with other entities, which is also in the Act, has proven to be ineffective and a source of indignity and dishonor for many millions of South Africans. The Democratic Alliance will ensure that it institutionalizes the grant payment system in South Africa when it governs in the year 2024. Thank you, Honourable Chairperson.